Hey there, friend. Tonight we're going back, way back. You are standing on a wooden deck that creaks beneath your feet. The year is 600 BCE. You've never heard of America. No one has. Columbus won't be born for another 2,000 years. Yet here you are, a Phoenician sailor named Hanno, gripping salt-stained rope as your ship rolls across endless gray water. Your crew whispers prayers to Melkart, god of the sea. Some call you madmen, others, explorers. You call yourselves desperate. The Mediterranean is crowded, every port controlled, every trade route watched by Egyptian or Greek eyes. So your captain Balos proposed the impossible: sail west into the ocean of darkness, where the world supposedly ends, where sea monsters wait with open jaws. 27 of you agreed, for glory, for gold, for the slim chance of finding something no one else possessed, a new world. You don't know it yet, but in 3 months you will beach your ship on strange shores. You'll meet people with copper skin who've never seen an iron blade. You'll trade purple-dyed cloth for something your civilization has never tasted: cacao beans. And when you return, if you return, no one will believe your story. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So dim the lights. Let me take you there, to the voyage they never taught you in school. You wake before dawn in Tyre, the greatest port city the world has ever known. Your small room smells of cedar and lamp oil. Outside, the harbor already hums with activity. Slaves loading amphorae filled with wine, merchants arguing over the price of glass beads, priests chanting morning prayers to Baa. You've been a sailor for 12 years, since you were 14, and you've seen every corner of the Mediterranean. But today is different. Captain Bielo summoned the crew last night with an offer that seemed insane. Join a voyage beyond the Pillars of Hercules, beyond where Phoenician ships dare venture regularly. The pay, double shares of whatever you find. The risk, you might sail off the edge of the world. You pull on your wool tunic, dyed that distinctive Tyrian purple that costs more than most families earn in a year. The dye comes from murex snails, 10,000 snails for 1 gram of dye. Wearing it marks you as someone important, someone worth respecting. You strap your bronze knife to your belt and head to the docks. The ship waits. It's a gallos, a merchant vessel 50 feet long, with a rounded hull designed for carrying cargo, not speed. 2 masts, a square sail on each, 27 crew members total, including yourself. You recognize most hardened men who've survived storms, pirates, and the whims of foreign kings. If anyone can sail into myth and return, it's this crew. Bielo stands at the prow, his weathered face unreadable. We leave with the tide, he announces. May Melkart guide us. The ship slides from Tyre's harbor like a knife through silk. You take your position at the starboard oar bench, muscles already anticipating the familiar burn. The rhythm begins. Pull, lift, as the coast of Phoenicia shrinks behind you. Women on shore wave goodbye. Some cry. They've seen too many ships leave and never return. For 2 days you row north along the coast. The crew is tense but professional. Each man knows his job. Bilos keeps you close to shore, standard procedure. No Phoenician captain risks the open sea when you can island hop, beach at night, take on fresh water. But everyone knows this safe route ends at the Pillars of Hercules. On the 3rd day you pass Cyprus. Someone mentions a sailor who claimed to have gone beyond the known world 20 years ago. He supposedly returned, speaking of lands where trees produced white gold, cotton, and people built cities of stone without mortar. Most dismissed him as sun-mad, but Bilos asked questions, took notes on clay tablets. That sailor's stories are why you're here. By night, you sleep on beaches. The crew rotates watch duty. 2 men always awake, watching for pirates or worse. Phoenician ships are prizes. Everyone knows you carry valuable cargo. 3 nights in, you spot another vessel trailing you at distance, possibly Etruscan pirates. Bilos orders the sails raised earlier than planned. You outrun them. The food is already monotonous: barley porridge, dried fish, onions, dates. You drink watered wine to kill parasites. Fresh water won't last forever. Every sailor knows the math. 30 men, finite supplies, unknown distance. Turn back too late, and you starve. Turn back too soon, and you find nothing. But Bilos seems confident. He consults something the others haven't seen. A clay tablet wrapped in oiled leather, kept in a locked wooden box. Some secret knowledge. You wonder what it says. The Pillars of Hercules loom ahead. Two massive rock formations guarding the entrance to the ocean of darkness, what later ages will call the Atlantic. You've been here twice before but never sailed beyond. Few have. Those who do usually turn back within days, terrified by the endless horizon. Bilos gathers everyone on deck. We sail into unknown water, he says. From here, we can't beach each night. We'll be days, maybe weeks from any land. If anyone wants to turn back, speak now. Silence. Some men look scared. None speak. The promise of double shares outweighs fear, or maybe it's pride. Phoenicians don't quit. You pass through the pillars. The ocean beyond is darker, colder. The swells are longer, more powerful. Your ship climbs each wave and crashes down the other side. Water sprays over the bow. Within hours, 3 men are vomiting over the side. You feel queasy, but keep it down. Pride. Bilos orders a westward course, not northwest, which would lead to barbaric Europe, but due west into absolute nothing. The crew mutters. This contradicts every instinct. Phoenician navigation relies on landmarks, sun positions, known routes. Out here, there's only water. If the wind shifts wrong, if a storm hits, you'll never find your way back. On the second day, beyond the pillars, a debate erupts. 2 sailors, Ishmunazar and Adoniram, demand Bilos show them the tablet. We deserve to know what you're following. Ishmunazar shouts. Maybe you're leading us to death based on a madman's fever dream. Bilos refuses. I'm captain. You follow or swim. The tension nearly breaks into violence, but an older sailor, Yuha Milk, calms them. We trust Bilos, he says quietly. He's never failed us. The moment passes, but you see the doubt. It's spreading like rot in wet wood. 1 week into the Atlantic, the Mediterranean is a memory. Every direction looks identical. Gray-green water meeting gray sky. You've lost sight of any land. The crew is rattled. Phoenicians are coastal sailors. This emptiness violates everything you know. Food supplies are holding, but morale isn't. Men pray constantly to Melkart, Baaeeal Tanit. Some make offerings, casting bronze rings into the ocean, hoping to buy divine favor. You save your ring. You'll need it if you survive. Bilos remains unshakable. Each morning and evening, he takes measurements using a primitive instrument, a wooden frame with a plumb line. He's measuring the sun's angle at noon, tracking your latitude. You've seen Egyptian navigators do similar things, but most Phoenician captains rely on experience, not mathematics. Where did Bilos learn this? On the 9th day, something extraordinary happens. Birds, dozens of them, flying southwest. Land birds, not seabirds. They're migrating. Bilos changes course immediately. Following the birds, they know where they're going, he explains. They'll lead us to land. The crew's spirits lift. Birds mean land, means fresh water, food, possibly shelter. For 2 days you follow them. The birds disappear each night, then reappear each dawn, heading steadily southwest. Bilos was right. They know something you don't. On the 11th day, the ocean changes. The color shifts from gray-green to deep blue. The taste changes, less salty. You're approaching something. A current. Fresh water flowing into the ocean. Bilos consults his tablet again, nods as if confirming something. Then at sunset, someone screams, "Land!" There, on the western horizon, a dark line. At first you think it's clouds, but it doesn't move, doesn't change. It's land, massive, endless land, stretching north, and approaching the coast takes another full day. You fight against a current that wants to push you north. Bellows orders the crew to row in shifts, 6 men always pulling while others rest. Your shoulders scream with pain, but you don't complain. You're too excited, too terrified. As you get closer, details emerge. This isn't like any coast you've seen. No white buildings, no harbors, no smoke from cooking fires. Just thick, green forest running down to a beach of pale sand. The trees are huge, taller than the cedars of Lebanon, and the smell, even a mile offshore, you smell it. Rich earth, unknown flowers, something sweet and alive. But there's something else. Someone spots smoke. Thin columns rising from the forest interior. People, the question everyone's asking, friendly or hostile. Bellows orders weapons readied. Every man straps on his bronze sword. You check your knife, a pitiful thing if you're facing warriors. But maybe they'll be like the primitive tribes of Libya, curious, willing to trade. You find a break in the coast, a river mouth. Bellows steers the ship into it. The current fights you, but you row hard. The river is wide, brown, full of sediment. Fish jump around the hull. Strange fish like nothing from the Mediterranean. One looks like it has whiskers. Half a mile upriver you spot them. People on the southern bank, at least 20, maybe more. They're watching you, not running, not attacking, just watching. They're wearing less clothing than anyone you've ever seen. Leather breechcloths, nothing else. Their skin is darker than Egyptians, reddish-brown like clay. Some carry spears, others, bows. Bellows raises his right hand, the universal peace gesture. Slowly, one of them raises a hand in return. The peace gesture works, sort of. The natives don't attack, but they don't invite you ashore either. For hours, both groups just stare at each other across 50 feet of river water. You notice everything, the way they hold their spears, balanced, ready, the scars on their bodies, ceremonial or combat. Their eyes, intelligent, evaluating. Bellows tries communication. He points at himself, Bellows, then at the ship, at the sun, at the river. The natives watch, silent. One finally speaks. A language like nothing you've heard. Not Greek, not Egyptian, not any Semitic tongue. The sounds are different, the rhythm strange. You're a trader. You've picked up a dozen languages crossing the Mediterranean. This is beyond you. So Bellows tries something else. Trade. He signals for a crew member to bring goods. Carefully, making no sudden movements, a sailor brings forward a small clay pot filled with glass beads. Blue, red, green, colors made in Tyrian workshops, using secrets guarded for generations. Bellows holds up one bead, lets sunlight pass through it, creating colored light on his palm. Then he tosses it gently onto the beach. A native youth, maybe 16, approaches cautiously. He picks up the bead, holds it to the sun, gasps. The colors captivate him. He shows others. They gather around, amazed. You understand. They've never seen glass. To them this is magic. The boy runs into the forest, returns minutes later with something dried tobacco leaves, though you don't know what they are yet. He holds them up, makes a smoking gesture. Bellows laughs. He tosses more beads. The boy throws the tobacco. Other natives bring things, shells, feathers, a clay pot of honey, dried fish. The trade has begun. By sunset you've bartered most of your glass beads, and some cloth. In return you've received food, water, and something unexpected, guidance. Through gestures the natives indicate that larger settlements exist upriver. They point south, hold up many fingers, cities. They're offering to guide you. You've been upriver for 3 days, guided by 5 natives. The forest is unlike anything in the Mediterranean world. Trees so massive that 10 men couldn't link hands around them. Vines thick as ship ropes hanging everywhere. Animals you've never imagined. Bright birds that scream. Insects the size of your fist. Something large that crashes through the underbrush, but never shows itself. The heat is oppressive, humid. Your wool tunic feels like a wet blanket. The natives wear almost nothing and seem comfortable. You're dying. Insects bite constantly. Some crew members have developed festering wounds from scratches that won't heal in this wet heat. But the natives are helpful. They show you which plants are safe to eat, which water is clean, how to move through the forest without making noise. You're learning their language, slowly. Basic words: water, food, danger, friend. One native, the youth who first traded with you, seems particularly interested in you. His name sounds like Kimimela, though you're probably saying it wrong. He points at things, teaches you words, laughs when you mispronounce them. On the fourth day upriver, you reach something remarkable, a settlement, not a city by Phoenician standards. No walls, no stone buildings, but it's organized. Maybe 300 people living in long wooden structures covered with bark. There are gardens with crops you don't recognize, racks for drying fish, children playing, women working. The arrival of a ship, a thing none of these people have ever seen, causes chaos. Children scream, women grab them, run inside. Warriors emerge, dozens of them, armed with stone-tipped spears, stone axes, bows. Your bronze weapons suddenly seem inadequate. These people might have stone tools, but there are hundreds of them. You're 27. Crisis. The settlement's chief, an older man with scars covering his chest and arms, approaches. He's flanked by warriors. Kimimela speaks rapidly, gesturing at your ship, at the trade goods. He's explaining you think that you're merchants, not invaders. The chief studies you. His eyes are hard. He's seen violence, probably participated in it. These aren't simple forest people. They're organized, militaristic, evaluating whether you're worth killing or trading with. Balos, brilliant tactician that he is, doesn't wait. He orders the most impressive trade goods brought forward: a bolt of Tyrian purple cloth, bronze mirrors, a set of iron knives, precious, but worth the gamble, and something unexpected: a small clay lamp shaped like a dolphin. The chief examines each item. The purple cloth interests him. The color is so deep, so rich. He's never seen anything like it. The mirrors astonish him. He looks at his reflection, touches his face, can't understand how his image is captured. The iron knives are clearly valuable. He tests the edge, draws blood, nods approvingly. But the lamp confuses him. What is it? Balos demonstrates. He pours olive oil into it, places a wick, lights it. Flame erupts from the dolphin's mouth. The natives gasp. Some back away. Controlled fire in clay. Impossible. Magical. The chief makes a decision. He speaks a single word. The warriors lower their weapons. Women emerge from the structures. Children creep forward, staring. Crisis averted. That night, you're invited to feast. The food is strange. Corn. You've never seen this grain. Beans cooked in clay pots. Fish grilled over open fire. Something sweet made from tree sap. You eat carefully, watching the natives to see which parts they eat. Kimimela sits beside you, teaching you more words. You teach him Phoenician. By the end of the meal, you can say, "I am Hanno. I come from across the great water. We seek trade." He responds haltingly, "We are the people of the river. You are welcome." The chief watches this exchange, smiles slightly. You've made an ally. You've been with the river people for 2 weeks. The crew is divided. Some want to leave, worried about supplies for the return journey. Others want to stay longer, explore further. 3 men have developed romantic attachments to native women. Balos is gathering information. You've learned much. This land is vast, far larger than anyone imagined. The river people aren't the only tribe. There are dozens, maybe hundreds. Some are friendly, others hostile. Complex alliances and ancient feuds exist. To the south, the chief explains through Camilla, there are greater settlements, cities of stone. People who worship the sun, build massive temples, trade across enormous distances. These stories excite Balos. Cities mean trade, wealth, opportunity, but they also mean danger. Organized civilization means organized military. If you sail south and encounter a hostile empire, your bronze weapons won't save you. Still, Ballos makes a decision. You'll continue south, but carefully. The chief assigns 3 warriors as guides, including Camilla. They'll travel in your ship, experience this floating house they find so miraculous. The day before departure, something important happens. You're helping repair fishing nets with Camilla. When he stops, looks serious. Hanno, he says carefully. The elder says, south is dangerous. The Sun People are powerful. They sacrifice people to gods. They may see you as gift from gods. You don't understand fully. Human sacrifice, like the Carthaginians do sometimes, or worse. Camilla's expression suggests worse. That night, you tell Ballos. He listens, nods. Every civilization has dark practices, he says. We'll be careful, but we didn't sail this far to turn back because of rumors. At dawn, you depart. The river people gather at the bank to watch. Some look sad, others relieved. The chief raises his hand in blessing. Camilla boards your ship, looking both excited and terrified. He's never been on water deeper than a river ford. You're heading south, into greater danger, deeper mystery. Sailing south along this coast is like entering a fever dream. The landscape changes constantly. Thick jungle gives way to swamp, then to rocky coast, then back to jungle. You see animals that shouldn't exist. Massive gray beasts with long noses drinking from rivers, spotted cats bigger than any leopard, birds with beaks like boats. Camilla is both guide and student. He's learning Phoenician rapidly, smarter than most of your crew. You're teaching him about the Mediterranean world, cities of stone, ships that carry hundreds of people, writing, mathematics, astronomy. He absorbs everything, asks intelligent questions. In return, he teaches you survival, which snakes are deadly, how to predict weather from bird behavior, how to find clean water. The other 2 native guides are quieter. One, an older warrior, named something you translate as Red Hand, watches everything suspiciously. The other, younger, seems afraid of the ocean. He vomits frequently, prays constantly to gods you don't understand. After 10 days sailing south, you notice the water changing again, darker, warmer, and the coast. The settlements are more frequent, larger. You pass several villages without stopping. Some natives run when they see your ship, others gather on beaches to watch, pointing. Then you see it, smoke, but not from cooking fires. Too much smoke. Black smoke rising in columns. Something's burning, or something was sacrificed. Ballos orders you closer to shore. You anchor offshore and take the small boat in 6 men, including Camilla. As you approach the beach, the smell hits you. Burnt flesh. Your stomach lurches. On the beach, a stone platform. It's still smoking. Something was burned here recently, within hours. The remains are human, multiple humans. Camilla goes pale. Sun People, he whispers. This is their territory now. Red Hand speaks urgently. Camilla translates, we should leave. Now, they will have seen your ship. They will come, too late. War canoes, 3 of them, emerging from a hidden inlet. Each carries 20 warriors. These aren't like the river people. These warriors wear elaborate costumes, feathered headdresses, jade jewelry, bodies painted. They carry obsidian-edged weapons that glitter like volcanic glass. You're about to meet a real civilization, and they don't look friendly. You're captured, not violently. The Sun People warriors simply make it clear that you have no choice. Follow or die. Camilla translates what he can, but their language is different from his. Related, but distinct. It's like a Phoenician trying to understand Egyptian. Some words familiar, most not. They take you inland. Not to the ship. Ballos and the others are still safe. For now. Just your small group, you Camilla, Red Hand, and 3 other Phoenician sailors. The Sun People bind your hands loosely with plant fiber rope. Not tight enough to hurt, but clear. You're prisoners. The march takes hours. The jungle trail is well maintained, clearly used frequently. You pass more villages, larger than those upriver. People stop working to stare. Children point. Women whisper. You're exotic, strange, possibly divine, or possibly demonic. Hard to tell which they think. Then you see it. The city, And it is a city, not like Tyre, but undeniably civilized. Stone buildings, dozens of them, arranged around a massive central pyramid. The pyramid is stepped, covered in carved symbols, painted bright red and white. At the top, a temple, more smoke rising from it. Your blood runs cold. You know what that temple is for. The city bustles with thousands of people. There are markets, craftsmen working, children playing, priests in elaborate costumes, warriors patrolling. This is an organized state, and you're about to meet its ruler. They take you to a large stone building near the pyramid. Inside, it's cool, dim. The walls are covered in paintings, warriors in battle, prisoners being sacrificed, gods with animal heads, astronomical diagrams showing star movements. Whoever these people are, they're sophisticated. They understand astronomy, mathematics, architecture, military organization. A man enters, not the ruler, you can tell by the way others treat him, an advisor, a priest, something important. He looks at you for a long time, then speaks. Kimimela tries to translate. The man is asking where you came from. Kimimela points east, toward the ocean. The man seems confused. No one comes from the ocean. The ocean is endless. The world ends there. You realize they don't know the Atlantic is crossable. To them, your ship appearing from nowhere is supernatural. 3 days in captivity. You're not treated badly. Given food, corn tortillas, beans, some kind of chocolate drink that's bitter but energizing, water, a place to sleep, but you're not free. Guards watch constantly. The priest visits daily, asking questions through Kimimela's broken translations. You've learned things. This civilization worships the sun, moon and rain. Their calendar is more complex than anything Phoenicians use. Multiple interlocking cycles, predicting eclipses, seasons, auspicious days for war or planting. Their mathematics uses a concept you've never encountered. Zero, the absence of quantity as a quantity itself. You try to explain this to the other Phoenicians. They don't understand. You barely do. But the sacrifices, those are real. Every third day, prisoners are taken to the temple. You hear the drums, the chanting. You don't see what happens, but Kimimela knows. Hearts, he says quietly. They cut out the hearts, while alive, offer to sun god. You're terrified they'll sacrifice you, but days pass, and they don't. The priest seems more interested in questioning you than killing you. He wants to understand. Where is your land? How did you cross the ocean? Are you gods or men? Do your gods differ from his? You try to explain. Phoenicia, the Mediterranean, Melkart, Baal, Tanit. He listens, absorbs, asks more questions. Through painful translation, you begin to communicate real ideas. He's shocked to learn there are other lands, other seas, other peoples across the ocean. His worldview is cracking. On the 4th day, something changes. The priest brings another man, older, more elaborately dressed. This is the ruler, you realize. The king, or emperor. He has absolute authority. Everyone prostrates when he enters. He studies you for long minutes, then speaks. Kimimela translates, struggling. He says, "You are sign, from gods. Strangers from across water, means change coming, great change." He must consult priests. Decide if change is good or bad. In other words, decide if you live or die. That night, locked in your stone room, you have a desperate conversation with the other prisoners. Red Hand wants to fight, escape. Kimimela thinks you should try to trade, offer goods from the ship, knowledge, anything. You suggest a different approach. Offer to take some of their people back with you, across the ocean, to prove other lands exist. Make yourselves valuable as guides, not threats. The others consider this. It's risky. If the ruler says yes, you're committing to an impossible return voyage with strangers aboard, but it might save your lives. Your proposal reaches the ruler through the priest. The response comes the next day. He's interested, but suspicious. How can you prove other lands exist? You could be spirits, demons, anything. The ship might be illusion. You offer to bring items from the ship. The priest considers, agrees. Under heavy guard, you're taken back to the coast. The Sun People warriors are amazed by the ship. None have seen anything like it. Bellows is alive, relief flooding his face when he sees you. You load a canoe with goods, bronze tools, glass beads, purple cloth, iron knives, a bronze mirror, the clay oil lamp, papyrus scrolls with Phoenician writing, jars of olive oil and wine, even the mysterious tablet Bellows has been using. Back at the city, you demonstrate everything. The ruler is particularly fascinated by three things: the iron knives, far superior to their obsidian; the mirror capturing images still seems magical; and writing. Writing fascinates him. The idea that sounds can be captured as symbols, preserved, read by anyone who knows the code. This is revolutionary. The Sun People have writing too, but it's pictographic, complex, known only by priests. Your alphabet is simpler, more accessible. The priest realizes the implications. If writing spreads, priestly power diminishes. He looks uncomfortable, but the ruler is intrigued. Over the next week, you teach the ruler basic Phoenician alphabet. He learns quickly, clearly intelligent. You explain Mediterranean geography, trade routes, other civilizations, Egypt, Babylon, Greece. His worldview expands. He asks, "Are we primitive compared to your peoples?" You choose words carefully through Kimila. Different. You build greater pyramids than we do. Your calendar is more accurate. Your sacrifice practices are different. But we have larger ships, cross greater distances, trade more widely. The ruler considers this, finally makes a decision. He speaks at length. Kimila translates. He says, "You may live, but you must return to your land, then come back. Bring more wonders. Establish trade." He will send 2 of his people with you, 1 priest, 1 warrior. They will see your lands, return with proof. If they confirm your stories, regular trade will begin. If you are lying, they will not return, and your crew will die. It's a test, a terrifying one. You must successfully cross the Atlantic, convince 2 Sun People representatives that Phoenicia exists, then somehow return here. The odds are astronomical, but you're alive. That's something. Preparing for the return voyage takes 2 weeks. The Sun People provide massive quantities of supplies: dried corn, beans, smoked fish, strange preserved fruits, water in sealed clay jars. They're ensuring their representatives survive the journey. The priest, whose name sounds like Nakom, and the warrior Kinich are given crash courses in ship life. Neither has been on deep water. The first time they experience the ship rocking in ocean swells, both vomit. The crew laughs, gently. Everyone remembers their first ocean voyage. Kimamela and Red Hand choose to return with you. The Third River People guide opts to stay, adopted by a Sun People family. Cultural exchange is happening in both directions. The ruler provides one more thing, a gift for your king. It's a jade mask, beautifully carved, with inlaid obsidian eyes, worth a fortune. But more importantly, it's proof, something that could only come from this civilization. You pack it carefully in oiled leather. On departure day, thousands gather. The ruler gives a speech. Kimamela translates what he can. "These strangers came from the sea. We thought them spirits. They are men, like us, but they know things we do not. Soon some of our people will return with knowledge from beyond the ocean. This is a great day for our people." It's propaganda, of course. The ruler is framing this as a victory, not an encounter with equals. But that's politics. You're just glad to be leaving alive. The voyage east begins. Nakom and Kinich are terrified for the first week. The endless ocean, the way land disappears, the storms. But gradually they adapt. Nakom proves intelligent, asking questions about navigation, stars, weather. Kinich is quieter, but watches everything, learning. 3 weeks out, you catch the trade winds. The ship makes good speed. Ballo seems confident. He knows this route now. Going home is easier than exploring. But you're worried. The return journey should take 2 months, maybe 3. Your supplies are calculated for that. But what if you're wrong? What if winds fail? What if you drift off course? You'll be carrying proof of the greatest discovery in history, and die at sea with it. 6 weeks into the return journey. You're in the middle of the Atlantic. The situation is getting tense. Food supplies are holding, but water is becoming a concern. Despite careful rationing, consumption is higher than Balos calculated. With 30 crew plus 5 extra people, Nakom, Kinik, Kimimela, Red Hand and one more. The math is tight. Nakom notices the worry. Through your improving communication, he's learning Phoenician faster than anyone you've known. He asks what's wrong. You explain water shortage. We might not make it. He thinks, then says something surprising. Rain, make rain. You laugh. No one makes rain, but he's serious. He's a priest. His people have rain ceremonies. Not magic. He's not claiming to control weather, but observation. He spent years watching clouds, winds, bird behavior, ocean patterns. He might know things you don't. For 3 days, he watches the sky obsessively. On the 4th day, he tells Balos, storm coming, big storm. 2 days, maybe 3. Balos is skeptical, but cautious. He orders storm preparations anyway, securing cargo, double-checking ropes, preparing the smaller sail. Better safe than sorry. 2 days later, Nakom was right. Dark clouds appear on the northern horizon. The wind shifts. The ocean's color changes. A storm is coming, and it's going to be massive. You've been through Mediterranean storms. This is different. Atlantic storms are monsters. The sky turns black. Lightning illuminates walls of water taller than your ship. Rain falls so hard it stings exposed skin. Wind screams. For 2 days, you fight the storm. Every man works constantly, bailing water, adjusting rigging, keeping the ship pointed into waves. If you turn broadside to a wave, you'll capsize. The Sun People passengers help. Kinik is surprisingly strong. Nakom surprisingly calm. They've seen hurricanes in their land. This is bad, but survivable. During the storm, you collect rainwater. Every jar, pot, amphora, sail fold becomes a reservoir. By the time the storm passes, you've replenished your water supply. Nakom saved you. You tell him this. He shrugs. I watched Sky. Sky told me. After the storm, the crew looks at Nakom differently. Not as a curiosity or prisoner, but as valuable. He knows things. His civilization isn't primitive, just different. 10 weeks total. You've crossed back. The color of the water is changing. Greenish again. That Mediterranean quality. Birds appear. Gulls, which mean land. The crew is celebrating quietly. You're going to make it. Nakom and Kinich see the change too. For 10 weeks, they've been in a void. Nothing but water. Now land approaches. Your land. They're about to see if your stories are true. 3 days later, the Pillars of Hercules. Nakom's reaction is priceless. He sees the massive rock formations and gasps. Stone mountains growing from sea, he says in broken Phoenician. He's amazed. Nothing in his land compares. His coasts are low, forested. These geological formations are alien to him. You pass through into the Mediterranean. The water becomes calmer, warmer, more traffic. Other ships appear. Nakom and Kinich see them and realize, you weren't lying. There are many peoples here, many ships, active trade. This is a connected world. When you reach the African coast and beach for the first time, Nakom walks on sand, falls to his knees, kisses the ground. Solid earth, he says. I thought I would die at sea. You spend 3 days at a small Phoenician trading post, resupplying. The locals are stunned by your passengers. Where did you get them? What are they? You tell a simplified version. Far west, very far, beyond the ocean. Most don't believe you. One merchant laughs. You found some unusual Libyans and made up a story. You don't argue. You'll let Tyre judge. 2 more weeks of coastal sailing. Each port, each city, each site amazes Nakom and Kinich. Stone buildings 3 stories high, paved roads, aqueducts, carrying water, iron everywhere, tools, weapons, decorations, glass windows, writing on every wall, markets with goods from dozens of lands. Nakom is particularly interested in writing. He sees common people reading signs, merchants recording transactions. In my land, he says, only priests write. Here, Everyone, not everyone, you explain, but many. Literacy is spreading. Knowledge isn't hoarded. He considers this. This will change my people, he says quietly. If I bring this back, priests will lose power. Rulers might too. Knowledge for all means power for all. You realize you haven't just discovered a new land. You've started something that might reshape civilizations on both sides of the ocean. Tyre, home, the greatest port city in the world, or so you thought. After seeing the Sun People's pyramid city, you realize greatest is relative. Different civilizations excel at different things. The harbor is chaos when you arrive. Your ship is recognized. It's been gone 4 months, far longer than planned. Many assumed you lost at sea. Crowds gather as you dock. People shout questions. Where were you? What happened? Who are those strangers? Balas ignores them all. He sends a messenger to the palace. We must see the king immediately. We have news of utmost importance. The king of Tyre, Mutton Balas II, grants an audience that evening. You're brought to the palace, a massive stone structure that still manages to look small compared to the Sun People's pyramid. Nakhon whispers, your king lives here. Only one man. Power structures are different in your lands. Kings, not priest rulers. Hereditary succession, not divine appointment. Nakhon is trying to understand the differences. The throne room is filled with officials, merchants, military commanders. Everyone wants to hear your story. Balas presents the jade mask first, physical proof. The craftsmen in the room gasp. The carving is exquisite, the jade quality exceptional. This didn't come from any known civilization. Then Balas presents Nakhon and Kinich. Your Majesty, he says, these men are from a land across the ocean of darkness. A land of cities, pyramids, sophisticated calendars. A land no Phoenician has visited, until now. The room explodes with questions. Impossible. Hallucinations. Tricks. But the king raises his hand for silence. He approaches Nakhon, studies him carefully. The physical differences are obvious. Different facial structure, different hair, completely different clothing style. Even now, different mannerisms. Through you translating, Nakhon describes his homeland. The king listens, asks intelligent questions. How far? What goods? Are they warlike? Would they trade? Nakhon answers honestly. Very far. 3 months sailing. They have gold, jade, cacao, cotton, corn, all valuable. Yes, they're warlike, but also civilized. They would trade if treated respectfully. The king makes a decision. If this is true, it changes everything. Trade routes, wealth, knowledge. Captain Balas, you've done something extraordinary. He pauses, but we need proof. These men must be shown to other kingdoms. Egypt, Carthage, Greece. Let them see that Phoenicia has found something unprecedented. It's political, of course. Mutton Balas wants prestige, but it works in your favor. Nakhon and Kinich will see more of the Mediterranean world, more proof for their people. 6 months in the Mediterranean. It's been a journey for Nakhon and Kinich, not across water this time, but across cultures. You've accompanied them as translator and guide. Tyre to Sidon, to Byblos, to Carthage, to Egypt, to Athens. Each civilization impressing them differently. Egypt stuns them. The pyramids, older and larger than their own. The Sphinx, the temples at Karnak. Nakhon stands before Egyptian hieroglyphs and realizes different land, same idea, capturing knowledge in symbols. He and an Egyptian priest have a conversation you struggle to translate, both discussing mathematics, astronomy, calendar systems, their peers, recognizing each other's sophistication. Kinich is more interested in military matters. He watches Greek phalanx drills, sees their bronze armor and long spears, compares it to his people's obsidian-edged weapons. Different tactics, he observes. We fight in forest, jungle. They fight in open field. Each correct for their land, but both are homesick. 6 months away. They've proven your claims. Multiple kings, hundreds of witnesses have seen them, touched them, heard them speak their language. The Sun People's existence is now undeniable fact throughout the Mediterranean. It's time for them to return. The question how? A second expedition is being organized. Balos will captain again, the only Phoenician who knows the route, but this time it's official, funded by King Metamballo. 3 ships, not one, 90 men total, massive trade goods, bronze tools, iron weapons, glass beads, purple dye, wine, olive oil, and diplomatic gifts, a bronze statue of Ballo, elaborate jewelry, a written treaty proposing formal trade relations. You're going again. You're one of few who speaks Sun People language. You're essential. The night before departure, Nacom asks you something. Hanno, will this exchange destroy my people? New gods, new weapons, new knowledge. It could break everything we know. You consider honestly, possibly. Trade changes everything. Your people will want iron. They'll adopt some of our gods, maybe abandon some of theirs. Writing will spread. Power structures will shift. You pause, but hiding from change doesn't stop it. Better to guide change than be crushed by it. He nods, not entirely convinced. My ruler sent me to verify your claims. I will tell him everything you said is true, but I will also warn him, be careful what you wish for. The second voyage is easier. 3 ships means redundancy if one has trouble, others help. 90 men means specialized roles, dedicated navigators, cooks, warriors, craftsmen, diplomats. This isn't exploration anymore, it's an expedition. You're on Balos's lead ship with Nacom and Kinich. The return route is familiar now, you've sailed it twice. But familiarity doesn't mean easy. The Atlantic is always dangerous. 5 weeks out, one ship develops trouble, main mast cracks in a storm. The fleet beaches on an island, one of the Azores, though you don't know that name for repairs. The delay is frustrating but necessary. While carpenters work, you and Nacom explore the island. It's uninhabited, no people at all. Fresh water, birds, fish, but no human presence. Strange, Nacom says. Good land, why no people? You shrug. The world is full of mysteries. After 8 days of repairs, you continue. The fleet makes good time. You cross the mid-Atlantic faster than the first voyage. Better sails, better navigation, better experience. 11 weeks after leaving Tyre, you spot the western coast. But you're not at the Sun People's territory. You're too far north. Balos compensates, sailing south along the coast. After 3 days, you recognize the river mouth, the forest, the landmarks. You approach carefully. 3 ships appearing suddenly might provoke violence. Balos keeps the other 2 ships offshore, while his ship enters the river alone. Familiar signals visible. You've returned. The river people are there. Word has spread somehow. Hundreds line the banks. They recognize the ship, recognize you, Nacom and Kinich. Celebration erupts. You've returned, bringing reinforcements, trade goods, new friends. Kimula is there, older now, a father. His wife holds an infant. He boards immediately, laughing, speaking too fast for you to follow. Red Hand is there too, scarred from a hunting accident, but alive. They've been waiting, watching. The next challenge, getting word to the Sun People that you've returned. Kimula volunteers to carry the message. With 2 young warriors, he'll make the week-long journey inland to the Pyramid City. While waiting, you establish a temporary camp. The 3 ships beach side by side. 90 Phoenician men meeting hundreds of river people. It's chaotic but peaceful. Trade begins immediately. Glass beads for food, cloth for shells, tools for guidance. You realize this could be the beginning of something permanent. A Phoenician trading post in the New World, regular contact, cultural exchange. Or it could be a disaster if the Sun People react badly. 8 days waiting. The camp has settled into routine. Phoenician craftsmen are demonstrating their skills: metalworking, glassmaking, writing. River people are teaching survival skills, hunting techniques, plant identification, weather prediction. Cultural exchange is happening naturally. Then Kimamela returns. With him a Sun People delegation, 20 warriors in full ceremonial dress, 3 priests and a high official, someone close to the ruler. They're armed, but not hostile, cautious. Nacom steps forward, speaks rapidly in his language. The official responds. Long conversation. Finally, Nakom turns to you. They want to see the trade goods. They want to meet your leaders. The ruler remembers me, trusts that I've returned as promised, but he's suspicious of 3 ships and 90 men. Looks like invasion, not trade. Fair concern. Belos gathers the other 2 captains, and together with you and Nakom, you meet the official. Through Nakom translating, you explain, we bring trade goods as proof of peaceful intent. Bronze, iron, glass, cloth, wine, oil. We propose formal trade relations, regular voyages, exchange of goods and knowledge. We respect your ruler's sovereignty. We don't seek land, only partnership. The official examines the trade goods. He's particularly interested in the bronze statue of Bessel, though to him, it's just impressive metalwork. He tests an iron knife on his thumbnail, amazed at its hardness. He looks through glass beads, mesmerized by colors. Then he makes a demand. Your leaders must come to the ruler. Prove you're not threat. Come with only small guard. Rest of men stay here with river people watching. If you try to attack our city, these ships will burn. It's a reasonable demand. Belos agrees. He'll go with you. Nakom Kinnik, 10 Phoenician sailors and the Sun people. Escort. The other 79 men stay at camp, essentially hostages ensuring good behavior. The march inland takes 5 days. You know the route now. The official, whose name is something like Cock, asks many questions through Nakom. He's particularly interested in Mediterranean politics. How many kings? Do they fight each other? What about religious differences? The concept of competing gods confuses him in his culture. Gods are absolute truth, not choices. You try to explain religious tolerance, trade between different peoples, diplomacy. He listens, skeptical. In our land, he says, there are many tribes. Sometimes we war, sometimes we trade, but all worship same gods. Your world sounds chaotic. Maybe it is, you think. The Pyramid City again. Still impressive, still intimidating, but this time, you're not a prisoner. You're an ambassador. That's both better and worse. Higher stakes. The ruler has aged visibly in the year since you left. More gray in his hair, deeper lines on his face, but his eyes are still sharp. He sits on his stone throne, flanked by priests and warriors, studying your delegation. Nakom prostrates himself, speaks formally. You can only catch pieces. Ceremonial language is beyond your proficiency, but the meaning is clear. We returned as promised. We bring proof of distant lands. We bring trade. We bring your ruler's representative home safely. The ruler responds. Nakom translates. He says, he's pleased I returned. Pleased I confirmed everything. But he's concerned. 3 ships is not 1. 90 men is not 27. What are your true intentions? Belos steps forward. Through Nakom and you translating in chain, he explains. Great ruler, we seek only trade. We've brought samples of our world's goods, bronze, iron, glass. We request permission to establish small trading post at coast. We'll bring goods from our lands. You bring goods from yours. Both peoples benefit. The ruler considers, asks, what do you want from our lands? What's worth crossing the ocean for? Belos answers honestly. Jade, gold, cotton, new plants, corn, cacao, knowledge of your calendar, your astronomy, your craftsman's skills with stone, and we offer iron tools, bronze weapons, glass, purple dye, wine, olive oil, writing, new techniques for metalworking. The ruler consults with advisors. Long discussion in their language too fast for you. Finally, decision. I will allow trade, but conditions. First, trading post stays at coast. No Phoenicians enter interior without permission. Second, you teach some of our people, your writing, your metalworking. Third, we send observers to live on your ships, learn your ways. If you cheat us, your people will die. It's harsh but fair. Belos agrees. Treaty is made, not written, as they don't use your alphabet yet, but sworn before their gods. Priests perform ceremony involving blood, animal, thankfully, incense, chanting. You're now bound to these people. Over the next month, You establish the first permanent Phoenician presence in the New World. A small compound at the river mouth, wooden walls, storage buildings, living quarters for 20 men rotating duty. The other 70 will return to Tyre, with first trading missions goods. You're asked to stay. Your language skills are essential. You agree. You'll remain for 6 months, then return on the next voyage. It's decided 2 round trips per year. Trade, becoming routine. 6 months at the trading post. It's called Cart Adon, in Phoenician, new settlement. The river people call it something that sounds like Stonehouse by water. Names don't matter. The place works. 20 Phoenicians rotate through, learning the local languages, local customs. You're the permanent translator, but others are picking up basic words. Trade flows both ways. Glass beads, bronze tools, and iron knives going west. Jade, gold, cacao beans, and preserved corn coming east. The profit margin will be enormous once goods reach Mediterranean markets. But it's not just trade. Knowledge flows too. 3 Sun People scribes are learning Phoenician alphabet. They're brilliant, mastering in weeks what takes most people months. They see immediately how this could revolutionize their society. Currently, only priests can read their complex pictographic writing. Phonetic alphabet means anyone could be literate. You're learning too. Their astronomy is sophisticated. They've calculated Venus's cycle to absurd precision, predicted eclipses years in advance. Their mathematics includes concepts like zero, that Phoenician mathematicians will need years to understand. Their calendar interlocks 3 cycles, solar, lunar, and something else, creating a system more accurate than anything in the Mediterranean. One scribe, young man named something like Buluk, asks you a difficult question. Hanno, in your lands, who controls knowledge? Priests, kings, merchants. You think carefully. Different groups control different knowledge. Priests control religious knowledge. Scribes control writing. Merchants control trade routes. Kings control military knowledge. No one group has everything. He considers this. Here priests control almost all knowledge. If alphabet spreads, priests lose power. Some will resist. Some might try to kill those who learn. You hadn't considered this. You're not just trading goods. You're introducing destabilizing ideas. Some Sun People will benefit enormously. Others will lose everything. Your presence might trigger internal conflict. That night, you report this to the post commander, a Phoenician merchant named Adon. He shrugs. Change always creates winners and losers. Not our problem if priests lose power. We're here for trade, not politics. Easy for him to say. He'll leave in a month. You've made friends here. Nakam, Kinnik, Kimimela, Buluk, others. If civil conflict erupts, they'll suffer while Phoenicians sail safely home. 8 months now. Your 6-month stay extended. The next supply ship from Tyre was delayed by Mediterranean politics. You're stranded longer than planned. Not that you mind. This place feels like home now. The political situation you feared is developing. Not violently yet, but tensions are rising. The ruler has endorsed literacy training. He sees the strategic advantage, but some priests are resisting. They've built careers on being the only ones who can read, write, interpret sacred texts. Alphabet threatens their monopoly on divine knowledge. A faction has emerged. Conservative priests who claim alphabet is sacrilege. They say only traditional pictographic writing is acceptable to the gods. They're gaining supporters among older nobility who fear change. Neckham is caught in the middle. He's a priest but also a reformer. He's seen the Mediterranean world. He knows change is inevitable, but pushing too hard could trigger a coup or worse. One evening Neckham visits the trading post, looking worried. Hanno, we have a problem. The conservative faction wants to blame Phoenicians for disrupting our society. They're suggesting your trading post violates sacred law. They might convince the ruler to expel you. This is bad, not just for trade, but personally. You have friends here, and expulsion could mean violence. What can we do, you ask? Neckham thinks. Prove your value beyond trade goods. Show that Phoenician knowledge benefits everyone, not just merchants and reformers. Solve a problem that matters to common people. What problem? You discuss options. Then Buluk, who's been listening, suggests something: water. The eastern villages have bad water. People get sick, children die. Your people have, what did you call them? Aqueducts? Systems for moving clean water? Yes. Phoenicians learned from Romans and Greeks. You know basic engineering. Maybe you could design a water system using local materials. If it works, if you save lives, even conservatives would have trouble arguing Phoenicians are harmful. You propose this to Adam. He's skeptical. We're traders, not builders, but agrees it's good politics. He authorizes using some men and resources for the project. Over the next 2 months, you work with Sun People engineers. They have their own traditions to design a water system. It's crude by Mediterranean standards. Clay pipes, simple gravity flow, but functional. You build it in one village as demonstration. Clean water reaches households that previously relied on contaminated river sources. Within weeks, illness rates drop. Parents are grateful. Word spreads. The foreigners brought something besides weapons and luxury goods. They brought practical knowledge that saves children's lives. The conservative priests lose momentum. Hard to argue foreigners are evil when they're preventing deaths. 12 months total. The supply ship finally arrives from Tyre. You've been here twice as long as planned, but you're not ready to leave. You've built a life here. The ship brings news from the Mediterranean. Your story has spread. Every kingdom knows about the new world. Multiple nations are planning expeditions. Greek merchants want to follow Phoenician routes. Egyptian priests want to study Sun People astronomy. Even barbaric northern tribes have heard rumors. This changes everything. Phoenicia won't have monopoly much longer. Captain of the new ship, a young man named Hiram, explains. Carthage is building ships specifically for Atlantic crossing. Greeks are offering rewards for anyone who can guide them west. You've opened a door that can't be closed. You're not sure how to feel. Pride, concern. You've helped connect 2 worlds, but what are the consequences? The ship also brings more trade goods, and a message from King Metonbel. Establish permanent presence. Build larger facilities. Begin diplomatic negotiations for formal alliance. Phoenicia wants to bind the Sun People before other Mediterranean powers arrive. You meet with Nakom and the ruler. Through careful translation you explain, other peoples from across the ocean will come soon. Greeks, Egyptians, others. Some will be traders like us. Some might be conquerors. Your people should prepare. Learn what you can from Phoenicians while we're still the only ones here. Build defenses. Train warriors in new tactics. And decide, will you welcome all foreigners or only certain ones? The ruler understands immediately. Your honesty is appreciated. Many would hide this to maintain advantage. He considers. We will ally with Phoenicia. Formal treaty. You teach us your military techniques, your metalworking, your writing. We teach you our agriculture, our astronomy, our medicine. Together we prepare for others. It's decided. Over the next 6 months, the trading post transforms into something larger, a joint Phoenician Sun People settlement. Buildings expand. More Phoenicians arrive, craftsmen, teachers, warriors. Sun People send permanent representatives. Intermarriage begins. 3 Phoenician men marry local women, 2 Sun People women marry Phoenicians. You're watching the birth of a hybrid culture. Children born here will be neither fully Phoenician nor fully Sun People. They'll be something new. 18 months. The first Greek ship arrives. You watch it approach with mixed feelings. You knew this day would come, but it's still jarring. The Greeks are led by a captain named Pythias, a navigator and geographer from Massalia. He's heard the stories, followed Phoenician routes, and wants to see for himself. He's also arrogant, treating the Sun People as noble savages and Phoenicians as lucky fools who stumbled onto something they don't deserve. You dislike him immediately, but politics require courtesy. You and Nakom meet with Pythias, explain the situation. Formal Phoenician Sun People alliance exists. Trade is welcome, but Greeks must respect local sovereignty. No unauthorized exploration inland, no military presence. Pythias agrees. He has little choice with Phoenician and Sun People warriors outnumbering his crew 5-1. But you can see he's calculating. Greeks are strategic. They're looking for advantages. Over 2 weeks, Pythias trades, observes, takes notes. He's particularly interested in astronomy. Sun People knowledge could revolutionize Greek understanding of celestial mechanics. He also notices something you've been aware of but trying to downplay: gold. There's gold in the interior. Not massive amounts, but more than in most Mediterranean regions. When he leaves, you know he'll report everything to Greek city-states. Within a year, more ships will come. The new world is becoming crowded. That night, you discuss strategy with Nachum and the Settlement Council, now a mixed Phoenician Sun People governing body. We can't stop others from coming, you say. But we can control how Sun People interact with them. Establish rules. All foreign ships must stop at this settlement first. No unauthorized inland travel. All trade goes through official channels. Anyone violating rules gets expelled. The ruler agrees. The settlement becomes a gatekeeper, controlling access to the interior. It's a powerful position, but also a target. If Greeks or Egyptians want unrestricted access, they might use force. You begin training a militia, Phoenician tactics, Sun People warriors combining strengths of both. Bronze weapons, disciplined formations, knowledge of local terrain. If conflict comes, you'll be ready. But you hope it doesn't. You've spent 18 months building bridges. War would destroy everything. 2 years. The settlement has become a small city. Population 300 permanent residents, 200 Sun People, 100 Phoenicians, plus rotating crews from ships, diplomats, traders, teachers. You're now officially governor of Kart Edon by Phoenician decree. The Sun People call you Bridge Walker, one who walks between 2 worlds. You're 30 years old, married to a Sun People woman named Ix, as close as you can pronounce her name, father of a daughter who'll grow up speaking 3 languages. Your life has become the embodiment of cultural fusion. Home is a stone house combining Phoenician architecture with Sun People decorations. Meals mix Mediterranean and local ingredients: olive oil on corn tortillas, fish grilled with unfamiliar spices. Your daughter plays with wooden toys carved in both styles. But the political situation is deteriorating. 5 more Greek ships have arrived, 2 Egyptian vessels, even a small expedition from mysterious lands far to the north. Pale people with strange languages. The new world is no longer new, it's contested territory. The Greeks are aggressive. They've attempted twice to bypass the settlement, sailing directly to northern or southern coasts to establish their own posts. Both times, Sun People coastal scouts spotted them and sent warnings. Both times, you sent mixed militia to turn them away. No violence yet, but tensions are high. The Egyptians are different, more interested in knowledge than conquest. Their priests spend months studying with Sun People, astronomers trading mathematical concepts. It's genuinely collaborative. You prefer Egyptians, but then something unexpected happens. A Phoenician ship arrives with disturbing news. Carthage, Phoenicia's rival, is building a massive fleet, 10 ships, 400 men. They're planning to establish a major colony, with or without local permission. This is different. This isn't exploration or trade. This is colonization, and it threatens everything you've built. You call emergency council meeting. Present are yourself, Nachum, the ruler's representative, 3 Phoenician captains, 2 Sun People military commanders, even Buluka, now a senior scribe and educator. Carthage won't negotiate. You explain. They'll arrive, claim land, build forts. If Sun People resist, they'll view it as war. If we don't resist, they'll take whatever they want. The ruler's representative is angry. We won't be colonized on our own land. But Nachum sees the problem. We can't defeat 400 trained Carthaginian warriors with our militia. And if we try, every other Mediterranean power will see it as Sun People being hostile to foreigners. We'll become the enemy. 3 weeks to prepare before Carthaginian fleet arrives. You work frantically on a plan, risky but potentially brilliant. The key insight comes from Bullock. Carthaginians want land and resources, but they don't know this territory. They'll need guides, maps, knowledge. What if we make ourselves indispensable? You develop it further. Instead of opposing Carthage directly, you'll position the settlement as the essential intermediary. Carthaginians need local knowledge to survive. Which plants are edible, which water is safe, where hostile tribes are, how to navigate rivers. Without that knowledge, hundreds will die of disease, poisoning, or ambush. You'll offer to provide that knowledge, for a price. Not gold or goods, but political concessions. Carthage must recognize Sun People's sovereignty, must agree to trading post model, not open colonization, must work through your settlement's authority. It's leveraging weakness into strength. You don't have military power, but you have information power. Nacon refines it, and will use the ruler's religious authority. Carthaginians worship similar gods, Baal, Tanit, others. The ruler will claim this land is sacred to his gods, who are simply local manifestations of Mediterranean deities. Violating sacred land brings divine punishment. Mediterranean peoples respect religious claims. It's clever, mixing practical needs with religious politics. When the Carthaginian fleet arrives, 10 massive ships, intimidating and impressive, you're ready. You meet their commander, a hard man named Hamilcar, with confidence. Welcome, you say through Phoenician to Sun People translators. We've been expecting you. This land offers great opportunities, but also great dangers. Hundreds of your people could die within months without proper knowledge. Fortunately, we can provide that knowledge. For a fair arrangement. Hamilcar is suspicious but listens. You take him on a tour, show him the thriving settlement, the successful farms using local crops, the healthy Phoenician families who've survived 2 years. Then you take him to a burial ground, 23 graves of foreigners who didn't have local knowledge. Disease, poisoning, animal attacks, hostile encounters. Those were the unlucky ones, you explain. The ones who tried to learn by trial and error. We can save your people that suffering, or we can let you learn the hard way. It's a veiled threat, but Hamilcar understands negotiation. Over 3 days of intense bargaining, you hammer out agreement. Carthage can establish settlement 20 miles south. They'll have autonomy, but must coordinate with your settlement on interior access. They must pay Sun People taxes on extracted resources. They must respect sacred sites. In exchange, you provide guides, maps, agricultural knowledge, medical support. It's not perfect. You've allowed Carthaginian colony, but it prevents war and maintains Sun People's sovereignty. Most importantly, it establishes precedent. Other Mediterranean powers must negotiate, not conquer. 3 years total. The New World coast has 5 permanent settlements now. Yours Cortodon, the Carthaginian colony, 2 Greek posts, and an Egyptian research station, plus temporary camps from various expeditions. The coast is becoming crowded. Conflict is inevitable. 2 months ago, a Greek expedition raided a Sun People village, taking prisoners as slaves. The Sun People retaliated, killing half the Greeks and burning their camp. Now there's blood between cultures. You're caught in the middle. As governor of the primary settlement, you're expected to maintain peace. But how? You have no authority over independent Greek expeditions, and Sun People won't tolerate raids. The situation deteriorates when Greeks demand you punish the Sun People for killing their men. You refuse. They were defending themselves from slave raiders. That's legitimate. Greeks threaten to attack your settlement. You respond by mobilizing the militia, now 200 trained warriors, mixed Phoenician and Sun People, equipped with bronze weapons and disciplined tactics. Greeks back down but leave hostile. This creates new problem. Other Mediterranean powers see you've chosen sides. You're not neutral mediator anymore. You're Sun People ally. Some traders stop coming to your port, preferring Carthaginian or Greek settlements. Revenue drops. Phoenician merchants in your settlement are unhappy. Some want to leave, return to Mediterranean. Your carefully built coalition is fracturing. At home, Ix is pregnant with your second child. Your daughter is 3, speaking Phoenician Sun people language and basic Greek. She doesn't understand the politics but senses tension. One night, Ix confronts you. You're sacrificing our family's future for principle. Maybe you should compromise more. Work with Greeks even if they're slave raiders. Pragmatism over idealism. You're shocked. You want me to tolerate slavery. I want my children to grow up in stable settlement, not war zone, she responds. Your principles are admirable, but what good are they if everyone's dead? She has a point. You've been so focused on doing what's right that you haven't considered consequences for those depending on you. The next day you call another council meeting, present a difficult proposal. We need to establish clearer rules, universal rules that all Mediterranean powers must follow. No slave raiding, no unauthorized inland travel, fair trade only. But to enforce these rules, we need backing from multiple powers, not just Sun people. We need to create an alliance. Phoenician, Carthaginian, even Greek, committed to these principles. Those who follow the rules get access. Those who don't get expelled by combined force. It's ambitious. Getting rival Mediterranean powers to cooperate is nearly impossible, but it's the only way forward. 6 months of diplomacy. You've shuttled between settlements, meeting with leaders, proposing your alliance concept. It's exhausting, frustrating work. Everyone wants benefit without sacrifice, but slowly, progress emerges. The Carthaginian commander Hamilcar sees the logic unregulated chaos benefits no one. If Greeks keep raiding, Sun people will eventually unite and kill all of us. Better to have rules. Convincing Greeks is harder. They're fragmented. Multiple city-states, multiple captains, no unified command. But you find an ally, Pythias, the navigator you initially disliked. He's pragmatic. I don't care about slaves. I care about trade and knowledge. Your alliance protects both. Egyptians are easy. They never wanted conflict, just astronomical research. They enthusiastically endorse the alliance. After 6 months, you convene a conference, unprecedented. Representatives from Phoenicia, Carthage, 3 Greek city-states, Egypt, and the Sun people ruler. 27 leaders in one room, negotiating the first international treaty for the New World. Arguments are intense. Greeks want permission for limited slave-taking from hostile tribes. You and Sun people representatives absolutely refuse. Carthaginians want lower resource taxes. Sun people want higher. Phoenicians want trade monopolies. Others want free competition. For 3 days you negotiate. Compromises emerge. No slavery of any people within treaty zones. Free trade for all alliance members. Resource taxes standardized at 15% of extracted value. Sun people maintain sovereignty over interior, but alliance members can request permission for expeditions. Disputes resolved by council vote, not violence. Any power violating treaty faces combined military response from others. It's not perfect, but it's historic. For the first time, Mediterranean powers and New World civilization are formally allied, with written rules governing interaction. The treaty is signed in elaborate ceremony. Sun people priests perform blessings. Greek philosophers read proclamations. Egyptian scribes create official copies in multiple languages. Phoenician merchants celebrate future profits. Your daughter, now 4, watches the ceremony. She asks Papa, "Why are all these different people here?" "Because," you explain, "people from many lands can work together if they follow fair rules. That's what we're creating, fairness for everyone." She nods, not fully understanding, but sensing importance. That night, Ix tells you she's proud. Your second child, a son, is born 2 weeks later. You name him Matan, Phoenician name with Sun people named Chak. He's a living symbol of your bridge between worlds. 5 years total. The treaty is working, mostly. There have been violations, disputes brought to council, punishments enforced, but no wars. Trade is flourishing. Your settlement is now a city of 800 permanent residents, with thousands passing through annually. The cultural fusion is complete. Your children, daughter now 6, son 3, don't see themselves as fully Phoenician or fully Sun people. They're something new. New World children of mixed heritage, speaking multiple languages, comfortable in multiple traditions. The settlement reflects this. Architecture combines stone Phoenician buildings with Sun people, pyramid-style temples. Markets sell Mediterranean olive oil beside local cacao. Priests worship in hybrid ceremonies. Baal and Quetzalcoatl honored side by side. Intermarriage is common. But you're aging. You're 33 now, which in ancient world means middle-aged. You've been governor for 5 years, bridge walker between cultures. You're tired. More concerning, you've received troubling news from Mediterranean, political instability, wars between kingdoms, economic problems. The flow of ships and trade might diminish. If Mediterranean powers lose interest in New World, what happens to your carefully built alliance? And there's something else. Deep in Sun people territory, there are reports of a greater empire, far larger, more powerful than the pyramid city you know. They've heard about foreigners on their coast. They're not happy. Emissaries have arrived at the pyramid city, demanding explanation. Why are pale-skinned strangers allowed on sacred land? The ruler is under pressure. His alliance with you has brought wealth but also controversy. Conservative elements in his empire view foreign presence as pollution, corruption of traditional ways. Nakum, now elderly and gray, visits you with warning. The greater empire might demand we expel all foreigners. The ruler might have to choose between his alliance with you and his position within larger political structure. If he chooses empire over treaty, you'll have to leave. All of you. You've built your entire life here. Your wife, your children, your friends, your city, all here. The thought of being expelled is devastating. That night, you walk through the city with Ix. You see what you've created. Merchants trading peacefully, children of mixed heritage playing together, priests of different faiths collaborating, warriors of multiple nations training side by side. We've built something beautiful, Ix says, something that never existed before. Don't let it die. You won't, but you need a strategy. You need to convince the greater empire that foreign presence benefits everyone. Or you need to prepare for the possibility of having to defend this place by force. Neither option is good. The crisis comes faster than expected. Emissaries from the greater empire arrive at your settlement, not requesting meeting, demanding it. 20 warriors, elaborately armed, led by a high priest wearing costume even more impressive than your local rulers. They represent someone called the Great Speaker, supreme ruler of vast interior empire. Through Nakum translating, the high priest delivers ultimatum. The Great Speaker has been patient, but foreign pollution has spread far enough. You will cease all inland activities. You will pay tribute to the Great Speaker. You will acknowledge his supreme authority over all lands, including your settlements. Or you will leave. It's worse than you feared. They're not just demanding expulsion, they're demanding submission. Your settlement council meets urgently. The discussion is heated. Hamilcar wants to fight. We have treaty alliance, trained warriors, bronze weapons. We can defeat them. Pythias is more cautious. We don't know their numbers. Reports suggest their empire has hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. We might win battles and lose the war. Nakum provides crucial intelligence. The Great Speaker rules 50 cities. He can field armies of thousands. But he's facing internal problems. Northern tribes are rebelling. Eastern kingdoms are withholding tribute. He's trying to project strength he doesn't entirely have. This might be bluff. You see opportunity. Then we need to make submission more costly than accommodation. We need to demonstrate our value while also showing we're too difficult to conquer. Over the next month you execute a two-pronged strategy. First, you send diplomatic mission inland, not to the Great Speaker directly, but to some of the tributary cities. You offer them a deal. Trade directly with foreign settlements. Bypass the Great Speaker's control. Keep more of your profits. It's subversive, undermining imperial authority. Second, you conduct military demonstrations. Combined forces, Phoenician, Carthaginian, Greek, Egyptian, Sun people, perform coordinated drills visible to the empire's emissaries. You show bronze weapons, disciplined formations, Siege equipment. You make it clear. Attacking coastal settlements would be bloody, expensive, and might fail. The gamble works. Two tributary cities secretly agree to trade with you, weakening the great speaker's economic control. The emissaries report back about the military strength. The great speaker recalculates. 3 months later, new emissaries arrive. Different message. The great speaker acknowledges your strength. He proposes accommodation. You may remain on coast. You will pay modest tribute, symbolic, not burdensome. You will not interfere with his authority over interior cities. In exchange, he will not oppose your presence. It's compromise, not perfect, but livable. You negotiate details, ensuring the tribute is reasonable and that your alliance with Pyramid City remains intact. Crisis averted for now. 7 years total. Peace holds. The greater empire takes its symbolic tribute, some glass beads, bronze tools, nothing economically significant. The tributary cities trade secretly with your alliance, slowly weakening imperial control. Your coastal coalition grows stronger. But you're 35 now. In ancient world, that's approaching old age. You've survived longer than most. Disease, violence, dangerous voyages, but you feel mortality approaching. Your hair is gray, your joints ache, you tire easily. Your children are growing. Daughter is 8, son is 5, and Ix is pregnant again. A surprise given her age. This might be your last child. You hope it's another daughter. The settlement has become a true city. Population exceeds 1,000 permanent residents, with several thousand more in surrounding farms and fishing villages. You've built something that will outlast you. That's comforting. But there's sadness too. Of the original crew from your first voyage, 27 men who crossed the Atlantic 11 years ago, only 12 survive. Captain Belos died 2 years ago. Old age and hard living catching up. Kimimela died last year, hunting accident. Others succumbed to disease, violence, or simply wore out. Nakam is still alive, barely. He's bedridden now, ancient by any standard. You visit him often. He's become your closest friend over these years, the one person who truly understands what you've accomplished and sacrificed. One afternoon, sitting beside his bed, he asks, "Hano, when I die, soon don't argue. Promise me something. Don't let them forget. Don't let future generations forget that people from different worlds met peacefully, learned from each other, built something together. That's rare. Maybe it's fragile, but it's real. You promise." I'm writing it down. In Phoenician, in your language, in Greek, everything that happened. The voyages, the first contact, the treaties, the struggles. Future generations will know. He smiles. Good. Because humans forget easily. They'll need reminders that cooperation is possible. He dies 3 days later. The funeral is enormous. Hundreds attend, from multiple cultures. He's honored as a bridge builder, a wise man who guided 2 civilizations through initial contact. You give the eulogy, speaking in both languages. You cry, unashamed. After the funeral, Ix finds you on the beach where you first landed 11 years ago. You stand together, watching waves, remembering everything that's happened. "What do you think?" she asks. "Was it worth it? All the struggle, the danger, the compromise?" You consider honestly. "I don't know. We've created something unprecedented, but we've also brought iron weapons to people who had stone, diseases that killed hundreds, political complications that disrupted ancient societies. We opened a door that can't be closed. Would you do it differently?" she asks. "No," you admit. Because even with all the problems, the alternative was worse. If we hadn't established rules, if we hadn't built alliances, this coast would be chaos. Slave raids, war, genocide maybe. At least we tried to do it right. She takes your hand. Then that's enough. 10 years total. You're 38, old by ancient standards. You've resigned as governor. It's time for younger leadership. Your replacement is your daughter, now 11 years old. No, that's wrong. Your replacement is a younger Phoenician diplomat named Hiram, but your daughter is being trained to eventually take leadership. Mixed heritage, multilingual, equally comfortable, in both cultures, she represents the future. Your third child was indeed a daughter. She's 3 now, another bridge between worlds. Your son is 8, training as a warrior and merchant simultaneously. You've stepped back from politics to focus on writing. Nakam's dying wish haunts you. You've spent 2 years creating comprehensive account of everything. The first voyage, the discovery, the initial contact, the treaties, the conflicts, the resolutions, written in 3 languages, Phoenician Sun People, using alphabet you introduced, and Greek. Multiple copies made on papyrus, clay tablets, even carved in stone. You've also trained several scribes, both Phoenician and Sun People, to continue recording. The history must survive, but there's one more thing you need to do. One more voyage. You want to return to Tyre. See your homeland one last time before you die. Ix understands, though she won't come. She's too old for Atlantic voyage, and this is her home now. Your eldest daughter will stay to manage family affairs, but your son and youngest daughter will come with you. A ship is leaving in 2 weeks. Regular trade route now. Routine. You book passage. It's strange being a passenger after being captain, governor, leader, but also freeing. The day before departure, the entire city gathers to honor you. Speeches from multiple leaders. Hamilcar, now retired and old, speaks. Hanno didn't conquer, he connected. That's rarer and more valuable. Pythias, grown wealthy from New World trade, adds he proved that profit doesn't require exploitation. Fair trade benefits everyone. The current ruler of the Sun People, son of the man you first met, speaks through translator. Hanno showed us there are many ways to be civilized. We're richer for knowing him. Your wife speaks last, brief and emotional. He's been bridge between worlds, but he's also been husband, father, friend. I've loved him in all those roles. The world honors the governor. I honor the man. You're overwhelmed. You've made mistakes. You know that. Compromises that still haunt you. Decisions that hurt people. But you've also genuinely tried to do right. To build something better than what existed before. The next morning, standing on deck as ship departs, you watch the city shrink. Your son asks, "Papa, will we come back?" "I don't know," you admit. "I'm old. The voyage might kill me, but if I survive, yes. This is home now, as much as Tyre ever was." The Atlantic swallows you again. Familiar gray-green water, endless horizon, full circle. The return voyage takes 3 months. You're going against prevailing winds part of the way. You spend the time teaching your son navigation, stories, history. He needs to understand where he came from, both Phoenician and Sun People heritage. Your youngest daughter is too young for lessons, but she watches waves, learns sea shanties from sailors, falls in love with dolphins that occasionally pace the ship. She's fearless in a way you never were. The Atlantic is kinder this time. No major storms, just steady progress. You pass the island where you once repaired ships, still uninhabited. You pass through the Pillars of Hercules, still impressive after all these years. And then the Mediterranean. Smaller, calmer, crowded. So many ships. The New World coast has traffic now, but nothing like this. The Mediterranean is highway of civilization. When Tyre appears on horizon, you feel strange mix of emotions. This was home for 25 years, but it's been 13 years since you left. Will it feel familiar, foreign? Both. The harbor is larger than you remember. More ships, more traffic, more prosperity. Phoenicia has grown wealthy from New World trade. Your trade, the routes you pioneered. You dock, and immediately people recognize you. "Hanno the explorer," someone shouts. "Hanno the bridge builder." Within hours, you're summoned to the palace. The king wants to see you. King Matomba II is ancient now, in his 70s, barely mobile, but his mind is sharp. "Hanno," he says, "you've returned. I'd heard rumors you'd gone native, abandoned your homeland." "Not abandoned, your majesty," you respond. "Expanded. I'm Phoenician still, but also something more." He studies your son and daughter, obviously mixed heritage. "Your children," he observes. "Yes, they're Phoenician and Sun People. They're the future." people who belong to both worlds. The king considers this. There are those in Tyre who disapprove, who think you've polluted Phoenician blood. But there are others who see what you've accomplished. You've opened a new world. You've created alliances that benefit our people. You've brought wealth and knowledge back to Tyre. He pauses. History will judge whether you did right. But I think history will be kind. Over the next 3 months you tour the Mediterranean. Carthage, where Hamilcar's family honors you. Athens, where philosophers want to interview you about cultural contact theory. Alexandria, where scholars want to study your linguistic notes. Everywhere you're treated as living legend, but it feels hollow. These places are impressive, but they're not home anymore. Home is a wooden house in coastal settlement, where two civilizations meet. Home is where X waits. Home is the new world. Your son feels it too. Papa, when do we go back? Soon, you promise. Very soon. You're sailing back. The ship departs Tyre on a spring morning, and you feel profound relief. You've seen your homeland, paid respects to the king, reconnected with your roots, but you're ready to leave. Your son is excited, going home. Your youngest daughter is sad to leave dolphins, she befriended in Mediterranean, but happy to return to mother and sister. The Atlantic crossing is routine now. Ships make this voyage regularly. Trade is established. Routes are known. You're just another passenger. It's strange and wonderful. You spend the voyage writing final chapters of your history. You've documented everything up to the Mediterranean visit. Now you're writing conclusion, not ending, because the story continues. But your part is done. You write, I came to this land 13 years ago as explorer seeking glory and gold. I leave it as old man, who found something more valuable. Proof that different peoples can meet, learn from each other, and build together. It hasn't been perfect. There's been violence, exploitation, mistakes, but also friendship, marriage, children, treaties, shared knowledge. My children are neither fully Phoenician nor fully Sun people. They are something new, first generation of truly interconnected world. There will be more like them. The ocean that once separated civilizations is now a bridge. What happens next will depend on whether humans choose cooperation or conquest. I hope they choose cooperation. But humans being humans, it will probably be messy mixture of both. Still, knowing connection is possible. That's progress. To future generations reading this, wherever you are, whoever you are, remember that strangers can become friends. Different can become family. Oceans can become bridges. It takes work, courage, compromise. But it's possible. I know because I lived it. 3 months later, you see the western coast. Your son shouts with joy. Your daughter starts crying, happy tears. You feel it too, coming home. The ship enters familiar river. The city appears, larger than when you left. More ships, more buildings. Progress continues. At the dock, a crowd waits. Ix is there, gray and beautiful. Your eldest daughter beside her, now 13, and commanding presence. They're waving, running. You disembark, and your family embraces, all 5 together. Finally, your son is talking excitedly. Your youngest daughter is jumping. Your eldest is asking serious questions about Tyre, and Ix is just holding you, not speaking, just breathing together. Welcome home, she finally whispers. I'm home, you agree. That evening, standing on the beach where you first landed 14 years ago, watching the sunset with your family, you think about Necom's request. Don't let them forget. You won't. The history is written. Multiple copies exist. Scribes are trained. The story will survive. More importantly, the story continues. Your children, their children, generations to come, they'll live in a world where distant peoples know each other, trade with each other, learn from each other, not perfectly, but connectedly. You've been bridge between worlds. Now others will walk that bridge. Your work is done. The sun sets over the ocean that once meant terror and mystery, but now means connection. Your youngest daughter asks Papa, what's across the water? Home, you tell her. In both directions, She doesn't fully understand, but she will. They all will. The waves wash over your feet, same waves that touch Mediterranean shores. Thousands of miles east, one ocean, one world, many peoples, connected. That's what you've helped create. That's enough. So friend, you've walked with Hanno across oceans, through first contact, across cultural bridges that changed two worlds forever. The Phoenicians may not have established permanent colonies like Columbus would millennia later, but they touched these shores, traded knowledge, married into communities, and proved that distant peoples could connect. History often forgot these early bridges, but they mattered. Every connection matters. Now, dim the lights. Close your eyes. Rest in the comfort that humans have always been explorers, bridge builders, dreamers willing to cross impossible oceans to touch strange shores. That courage lives in you too. Thank you for listening. Safe dreams. Until tomorrow's journey through time. Good night.